Thanks to the support as a channel member, Chris Spencer. I'm still not going to say the word, but in other news, we are still unbeaten in the Premier League. We face Manchester City today. If we can navigate this one, maybe? Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 12 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Premier League game against Manchester City, and then I'll show you the second leg of the Champions League first knockout round against Juventus. Since you were last with me, we have maintained our unbeaten record in the league, at least. We have just been knocked out of the FA Cup by Arsenal, so no domestic cups for this season. Man City and Arsenal have dealt with that, but we haven't lost a game in the Premier League or the Champions League, and hopefully that will continue. We did just beat Liverpool 3-0 in the Premier League, so that's jolly nice. This is what the league table looks like. We're 4 points clear of City, but they do have 2 games in hand on us, but we have a much better goal difference. It kind of makes today must win. If we can beat City here, then we go 7 points clear, and they'll only have 2 games in hand, and then we just have to win every game. And we've already played Arsenal twice. We'd have played City twice. We've played Liverpool twice. Looking at our run-in, this is the last big test, which means we'll probably win it and then lose away against Ipswich 3 games before the end of the season, so we can't have an invincible season. And now we said the word, so it's definitely going to happen. Brilliant. And Juventus in the Champions League, Juventus, who are top of Serie A, they are quite good, managed by Ruud van Nistelrooy. Who'd have thought? Right, this is the team for the game against Manchester City. It's Canizares in goal, a back four of Aketsi, Burrows, Memishi and Everton Antonio, Scalvini at the base of the midfield with Larsen and Sudakov ahead of him, Van der Winden on the left, Muniz on the right, Ilunga up front. We've got a lot of players who are tired or injured. As you can see, Steve's injured, Ayala's injured, Ireland's injured. Ireland's going to be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks, which is a big loss. So we are a little bit makeshift, particularly in midfield, but we've still got a lot of quality in there. I still think we're going to be fine. Let's get the team submitted and just make sure we beat Manchester City. This is, like I say, it's the last big test if we want to have an unbeaten season. Obviously, that was never the goal at the start of the season. The plan this year is to win the Champions League, but doing it whilst being unbeaten in the Premier League would be jolly nice. Van der Winden has hurt his calf, so we'll keep an eye on him. We'll leave him on for now. We don't have to make a substitution super early, but we will keep an eye on him and make a change if we have to. We could do without our players dropping like flies. Sudakov moving into that space between midfield and attack, finds Ilunga, and how has he missed from there? He's one-on-one with the keeper. He's not even forced to save, it is troublesome. Looking at this Manchester City team as well, this guy, Kobo, is Ireland's partner in central midfield in the media Dream 11. Obviously, we know all about Haaland. I think Gvardiol is in the Dream 11 as well. So they've got basically the best players in the Premier League all play for either us, City or Arsenal. And I think there's a bigger share of them with us and City at this point. And Haaland's tiring, which is nice. I mean, he'll probably still score because he always does. But he looks like he's getting tired little legs, which is splendid. They've already had to take off Kulusevski thanks to an injury. We'll have to take off Van der Winden at half-time for the same thing, but we've got Garnacho on the bench. He should be fine. Right, Larsen turns nicely, releases Muniz, who takes a really heavy touch. We've not had the phenomenal first season from him I was hoping for. I keep persisting with him because I'm determined to make him the best player in the world. It isn't really working out for us just yet. I keep speculating on it. I wonder if he's a striker, and we should be playing him up front rather than out wide, because he's just not doing the magic out wide on a consistent basis that I hoped he would be. Van der Winden. We've got, actually, we're going to bring on Hendrick rather than Garnacho, I think, for the additional goal threat. I'd rather have my goal scorers in the front 3 rather than the creators. The creators come out of midfield. We want Hendrick up there, really pushing up with Ilunga. They're our 2 top scorers, and fingers crossed one of them can make the breakthrough today, because a draw doesn't really do us a lot of good. Obviously, it keeps us unbeaten, which is nice, but it does leave City with 2 games in hand, still only 4 points behind us. So in terms of actually winning the league, which is a much higher priority than being unbeaten, we need to go for the win here today, because a win is absolutely crucial. City knocking the ball around very nicely here. They've got their superstar central midfielder. Obviously, ours is injured, and Kobo does drift out wide onto that right-hand side. And this is a nice little move from City here. And luckily, Canizares is equal to the shot from Camavinga from range. But it is a City corner. They've obviously got some big boys of their own. We have our big boys. We've got Burrows in there. We've got Scalvini in there. But they've tried the shenanigans corner. It is our kryptonite. And they've done double shenanigans there. But Foden's offside as part of it, which is jolly nice. Right, get this onto Burrows' head. Muniz is looking for the in-swinger, floats it over. Larsson's there. Burrows receives it. The second time of asking, Sudakov shoots. And it was Ilunga who tried to get a toe onto it, but couldn't really change the trajectory of the ball, and it ends up being clutched into the chest of the Manchester City goalkeeper, and they look to get a counter-attack going, but Ilunga immediately wins it back off of Foden, and now Sudakov nods it down to Ilunga. Endrick's got in behind, and it's another good save. We've got two good goalkeepers on the pitch here. They're the two best keepers in the Premier League, and they're demonstrating it today. Muniz is going to try another corner, an in-swinger again, and once again, it's headed clear pretty comfortably. I wonder, seeing him take the corners with his right foot, I wonder if we should be playing him on the left rather than on the right. I mean, he's a right footer who's a natural right winger, but maybe we should be training him to play over there and getting him cutting inside. I've tried putting individual training on during matches before and it doesn't stick. Remind me after the match to get him training to play on this left-hand side, because that might end up being the position where we turn him into a superstar. How's it taken me that long to figure that out? Right, the rest of the front three are all shattered, so we're going to bring on Heilbronn, we're going to bring on Garnacho, and we're going to shuffle things around a little bit. So Garnacho on the right, Heilbronn off the left, Endrick goes up front as he tries to make the breakthrough, and we've got a corner which Muniz was about to take and then got substituted, and as a result, we don't even get to see the corner. City have only had one shot on target in this match. They've come here to defend because they know they don't need to win today. They just need to avoid defeat, and they've still got everything in their hands as part of this run-in. Gavi's going to come on, and we're also going to bring on Zay Sarau at right back as our final rolls of the dice. Let's offer some encouragement, and let's hope we can find somebody to make the breakthrough. I mean, City have shut us out today very well, and now they're going to take our unbeaten record off us, aren't they? It's back into the mix. Camavinga, I mean, it's a soft effort from him, and Canizares rolls it out to Mimishi, and now we've got an opportunity for a counter-attack, but it was so poorly executed that we didn't even get to see it in a highlight. And I think this is just going to be City shutting us out for the 0-0, which puts everything back in their hands, which is trouble. So imagine if we go unbeaten and finish second. Takes some of the shine off of an unbeaten season if that happens, doesn't it? Let us focus on the Champions League, which, as we all know, was always the real goal. Well, we've kept our good record going in the Champions League and the league. Beat Juventus 2-1 in the first leg of the round of 16 and then picked up a win over Fulham. So Premier League looks like this. City still winning their games as well is problematic. But let's go beat Juventus and get ourselves into the quarter-final of the Champions League. So this is the team. It's Canizares in goal, a back four of Iketsi, Scalvini, Mimishi and Everton Antonio. Steve at the base of the midfield with Larsson and Sudakov ahead of him. Van der Winden on the left, Muniz on the right. We are now training him to play on the left though. So we've got him trained. He's already makeshift. Look, see, he's already getting good. And then Ilunga up front. I did notice as well with Muniz, he's not actually any better than basic English yet as well, which is also going to be a bit of a problem for him. So, I mean, it's not that he's having a bad season. He's just not Cristiano Ronaldo yet, which is what I was hoping for. And I think we're noticing in the episodes in particular, he doesn't really turn up for the big matches. So maybe he is Cristiano Ronaldo because he's already mastered stat padding. Let's get the team submitted. He's going to be a star today, though, I've decided. We're 2-1 up from the first leg. And let's win a football match, Champions League music, etc., etc. You know how it works. Is this the first Champions League match we've had in a video in the series? It's not. I think I showed you a couple of group games as well. But we're going to win the Champions League. Scalvini's already scored, look. Isn't that good? He's back playing at centre-back today and has immediately scored a goal as a result. I mean, the position he's playing doesn't have any impact on where he lines up from corners, but when Burrows is in the team, Burrows stands in that spot. So Scalvini is not the guy that we aim at. So I guess by the nature of him playing at centre-back, it's pushed Burrows out of the team, which has put him as the target for the set pieces again. So I guess in a roundabout way, it is because he's playing centre-back. I've just noticed that Juventus have got Adam Wharton and Ben Doak in their team. We're in a future where British players go and hang out in Italy. which is interesting. I wonder if either of them, I don't even, is Ben Doak English? He might be Scottish. He might be Welsh. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Maniz, great work from Maniz. There you go. All he needed was to train to play on the left-hand side. He's turned up in a big match. That was lovely. And it's a tap-in from Ilunga, but it was all made from Maniz. Let's have a look at this from the other angle. He's turned his man inside out here. Everton Antonio playing the supporting role, but this is great from Maniz. And that touch there, and then he just plays it beautifully between the three Juventus players and the white paint, and just slides it across for the easiest goal Ilunga will ever score. Juventus comfortably clear at the top of Serie A, and we are going to batter them because English football is the best football. We all know that, don't we? And it's back with us for another highlight, starting from a goal kick. And it's Aketsi who's going to try and get things going down the left-hand side. He just lumps it over the top for Ilunga. That's English football, boys and girls. A big walloping ball over the top, and your centre forward there to grab a goal. I mean, where was that finishing against Manchester City? He missed a couple of good chances against them, and I know his first one today was a tap-in, but that's a lovely finish. It's good work from Aketsi. I've sold him a little bit short, saying he's just lumped it forward. He's actually played a perfectly weighted pass in behind the back four, but Ilunga looked like Thierry Henry with that finish. That was beautiful. And it's already 3-0. It's still only the first half. It's 5-1 on aggregate. We are as good as in that quarter-final, and starting to think about a potential Champions League win, which, to be honest, we've been thinking about all season. Ever since we spent all this money, it's been the plan. Manchester United haven't, I mean, I'll have to look when we last won the Champions League. I don't know if there's been a Champions League win as part of this save. Seems unlikely, bearing in mind the state the team were in when I arrived and the state they're currently in real life. It would be unusual for there to be a big peak in the middle. Oh, there you go, Ben Doak, Scottish. The game's answered the question for me. How very exciting. Right, let's just see this one out, I guess. That poor goalkeeper's not having a very nice time, is he? Oh, it almost makes me feel guilty, but they are playing with two inverted wing-backs, which, when we've got Van der Winden and Maniz out wide, does kind of suggest they deserve it. That's why we're turning their wing-backs inside and out, or their full-backs inside and out, because we've got our two wing-backs pushing on and overlapping. We've seen them both being involved in goals, and then a front three against a back two. They just can't cope with it, and Scalvini's scored again. Oh, maybe we should be aiming at him regardless. I mean, it's my set-piece coach who decides who we aim against, who we aim it to. But Scalvini seems even more prolific than Burrows is from those situations. But we'll just let him have his fun. Right, Everton Antonio is going to come off. We'll bring on Sarau at right back, and we will bring on Burrows to stop Scalvini getting his hat-trick. And then we probably should take off Steve, who is recovering from an injury, so Gavi can come on for him. Gavi had forced his way into the team for a good couple of months and has kind of lost his spot again to a combination of Larson and Steve. But I mean, we're rotating a lot. We haven't got anybody currently who's unhappy with the amount of football they're getting, and I think when we've got a squad the size we've got with the depth that we've got, that shows just how much rotating we're doing. So I think over the years I've mastered this rotation. Right. Are we aiming at Burrows? See, immediately we are. Poor old Scalvini's going to be fuming. Sarau lines it up from the edge of the area. Couldn't get his shot away. It falls to Gavi, and now Ilunga. Scalvini's out there on the left wing having a sulk because we're not letting him go for his hat-trick, the poor little rascal. And now we'll make our final changes. Van der Winden's going to come off. We'll bring Endrick on. In fact, no, we'll bring Halbrom on. We're comfortably ahead. Let's get Halbrom some game time. And Larson can come off for Mainu, who is now an accomplished right back, by the way. We've been training him to play there because he can't really get into our midfield, but it's useful to have a homegrown at club player around. So I'm thinking that right back, Gibbons, that we signed from Ipswich and then loaned out to Arsenal, we probably let him go in the summer. We've got Everton Antonio and Zé Sarau as our main right backs, and Mainu is going to stick around and be our emergency reserve. Burrows can play there as well if he needs to. We've got lots of players who can play right back. We signed Gibbons because he's young and English. We don't really need him. So hopefully he's having a good season for Arsenal and we can sell him on at a profit. We spent like 40 million on him last summer. But if we can sell him on at a nice juicy profit, that works for me. But we're just seeing this one out now. It would have been nice to actually move Maniz over to the left rather than Halbrom, but we're trying to train them both to play out there. So this is what happens when you've got lots of youngsters you're trying to develop. It'll be fine, but that's a comfortable win. We will be back tomorrow for more Champions League. We probably aren't going to check in on the league again now until we can either win it or lose it. We're going to focus in on the Champions League. That was always the goal for this season. I don't know who we've got yet because we haven't got the draw yet, but it'll be a lovely surprise for you in the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.